digital, mecanismos que permitam verificar a autenticidade das informações e rastrear a sua circulação são cada vez mais necessários. Mecanismos dessa natureza são importantes, por exemplo, para que se possam distinguir notícias que vêm de fontes confiáveis daquelas produzidas por hackers ou cybercriminosos. São importantes também para que se possa ter certeza da autoria de textos, fotografias ou quaisquer trabalhos técnicos ou artísticos digitalizados. É de se esperar que tais mecanismos permitam também a imediata identificação de cópias, falsificações e de casos de uso não autorizado de qualquer obra digital. Os Non-Fungible Tokens, ou NFTs, se tornaram conhecidos quando uma obra de arte digital tokenizada foi leiloada por valor milionário no ano passado. Os NFTs têm exatamente essa finalidade: tornar qualquer arquivo ou obra digital um objeto único, identificável e rastreável a qualquer momento. Token, em português, se traduz por símbolo. Diz-se não fungível daquilo que não se desgasta com o tempo e que não pode ser substituído nem confundido com nada semelhante. De maneira prática, um NFT é um selo digital indelevelmente associado a um arquivo digital qualquer com tecnologia blockchain que pode ser verificado a qualquer momento, mas não pode ser apagado nem alterado. É assim, semelhante a um certificado de autenticidade, com a vantagem de ser digital, indestrutível e verificável a partir de qualquer computador conectado à internet. Para entender de que maneira os tokens não fungíveis abrem novos caminhos e possibilidades para a indústria do copyright, temos este painel.
Rocha. I am the Director Secretary of the ABPI. I'm also a partner at Verano Law Firm. It's a pleasure to share this panel with such relevant figures in this area. We are going to start with a brief introduction of what NFTs are. I would like to ask our production to share the PowerPoint presentation on the screen. Thank you. And we have the PowerPoint on the screen. While we're waiting for the PowerPoint to be shared, I'm going to start reading the resume of our panel members. I'm starting with Guilherme Negri. He's a serial entrepreneurship. He has a degree in law from FGV. He has been a lawyer at Pinheiro Neto as an M&A. He has invested in blockchain and venture capital projects. He presents the Bit by Bit podcast in partnership with BTS Rio, and he is the COO of the NFT marketplace Tropics. Next, we have Felipe Ripe. He has a degree in journalism. He has a post-graduation in master. He has worked at Zima, and he is head of innovation at the Atlético Mineiro Football Club. We have Fábio Schwartz-Called. He has a degree in finance and business. He has worked for 20 years in the banking business in a number of banks. He is the director of the Parquilage School of Fine Arts. He is a member of the Council of the City of Rio de Janeiro, among other things. Jose Eduardo Piero is a moderator. He is a rapporteur director of ABPI. He is a partner at Palmaguete Advogados law firm. He has a degree from the Federal University of Rio de Janeiro and the University of Illinois Chicago School of Law and Patent. I would like to have our production share our PowerPoint presentation on the screen. If you bear with us, still a couple of glitches, but soon done. So we are going to be speaking about NFTs and the new horizons and copyright. So we'll be dealing with issues related to the topic on screen. To understand NFT, we need to understand what's behind it. Blockchain is an expression that not everyone is familiar with. It is a data bank that creates a string and that cannot be changed, and all transactions in blockchain are registered. Cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin being the most well-known, they are minted, which is the term used in the market, and Ethereum is the main base of NFTs, and the currency is Ether, which is used for actually trading NFTs. Transactions are made through smart contracts, digital contracts. And they are programmable on blockchain and self-executable. When we're going to speak about art and NFTs, it's important to be aware. Unfortunately, we are having some audio issues. So NFTs are non-fungible tokens. Cryptocurrencies can be exchanged by other currencies or any other currency. You can exchange banknotes if they have the same value. However, NFT is a single unique element, and it certifies a unique digital physical piece of art. So these are unique assets, and they are used as digital certification. And the NFTs are used for many purposes. And as I said, most of them are operating on Ethereum. We have the most famous case, if you remember, the fire girl, the disaster girl, if you remember, Zoe Roth, she was taken a picture of when the house was on fire. It was sold by $500,000, and the family kept the copyrights. There was also the example of the animated flying cat sold for $580,000. Here you have Vera Fischer, a Brazilian actress. The minimum bid in an auction was nearly $300,000. reais, and the purpose was to donate for charity. NFTs, one of the most famous one was the Dano manuscript with a minimum bid of $2,000. NBA is now selling brief videos with the best moves from their players, and the LeBron James, a star of NBA, was sold by $200,000 for $200,000. And the most expensive piece, this is a piece which is a set of pieces of art pieces, and was auctioned at Christie's for $69 million. So this is the record. This was done through NFT, and it's mirroring other traditional artists such as Picasso and that level of artist. I am now going to give the floor to Guilherme Nigri, who's going to be speaking. He's a lawyer. He has vast experience in law and corporate M&A law, and he's going to be speaking about his experience in the NFT world and explain how it works.
Thank you, Valdir. It is a pleasure to be here with you and to take part in this panel and to be able to talk to you about NFTs. I'm going to share my screen with you. Can you see my screen? Okay, there we go. When I make presentations on NFTs, I choose to talk about the theory at the beginning. So I like to explain what NFT is, what happens in the background. And that's why I name my presentation NFTs. What are they? How do they live? And what do they eat? Where do NFTs come from? Where do digital scarcity come from? In order to talk about NFTs, we have to talk about blockchain before. Blockchain comes with Bitcoin. On 31 October 2008, a paper was released, and this paper was written by an unknown person. This person is Satoshi Nakamoto. We don't know who this person is, and he publishes this paper where he solves several problems we used to have in computer science. He solves problems that we had been struggling to solve for many years. So it deals with reliability, digital scarcity, and he offers a decentralized solution, a solution that can be used by anyone, by any machine, and via a system that does not require a specific agent. Satoshi, this mysterious person, nobody knows who really is. And this makes Bitcoin even more famous because, everyone likes this idea of having a mysterious creator nobody's aware of. So there is a mystery around this launch. So this system was created based on a means of payment, a system of payment that operates in the internet and that allows me to pay without having to rely on the other person necessarily, but through a specific currency. So it also deals with the idea of a decentralized web. If we think about the web back then, the initial idea is that anyone would be able to control their assets, would be able to design blogs and websites in an independent and decentralized manner. The problem is that JPEG or different files, they can be reproduced quite easily. It's possible to have several JPEGs, to reproduce JPEGs. And we had this problem with MP3, for instance, and with music. There were some apps that allowed people to download MP3 without having to pay for them. It was quite easy. It was quite simple. Internet allows you to multiply assets via Ctrl+C, Ctrl+V. So this was a problem. It was a double spending problem of multiplication of assets, and there was no solution for such a problem. But then we had the blockchain. In the past, there was a centralizing entity that would certify what is true and what is fake. And there was a copyright data bank. But with blockchain, you have a solution for this problem. It's a Byzantine general problem, as we used to say. What is the problem of these generals? Say that we're both in war. There is an army that is big enough to attack the castle. But the problem of the general is a problem of trust and coordination. According to history, say there is one army with two generals that wishes to attack the castle, and one is on one side and the other is on the other side of the castle. In order to communicate, both generals needed to attack the castle, but they don't have a means of communication. Say they send a letter via a messenger. That letter probably wouldn't reach the destiny because the messenger would be captured. So there is a problem of coordination when it comes to leading the attack. And there is also a problem of trust because I have to be sure that the other person, the other end, is going to receive the information I'm about to send. If on the other end I have a traitor, I don't have the power that I need to have a successful attack. The only solution would be a mutual trust where everybody believes that the attack is going to take place. And blockchain is actually a solution for this problem. It is a problem that exists in computer science. Blockchain makes use of mining. You have a set of computers that solve mathematical equations, and as a consequence, you can validate a blockchain. When you add the encrypted hash and the blocks, you can have a long-chain verification, and as a result, you have the real owner. You have the authenticity. So in a nutshell, Satoshi manages to solve such a problem. There are other solutions, of course, but Satoshi offers an interesting solution, a solution that is totally decentralized and that allows you to have a peer-to-peer network where several computers are interconnected and you don't need to trust or to rely on any other person to complete the transaction. Take a look at this picture. This is blockchain mining. We talk about mining, but it's not really, physical exploitation and perforation. What we have is a set of computers, a hardware that operate to solve the net problem. That compose a reliable and decentralized network. Now, talking about NFTs, you have this paper that was written by Penning. In 1993, he published a paper called Crypto Trading Cards. He brought the idea of NFTs, but there was no blockchain at the time. It was the boom of collectible cards at the time. The cards that became famous at that time and now worth $1 million. So they were first created in 1993. And this paper was very important. And for this reason, many people believe he's actually Satoshi, because somehow the problems are solved in similar manners. Valdir mentioned Ethereum, which is the main platform that is used for the creation of NFTs. Ethereum is different from Bitcoin. While Bitcoin was created to be used as a means of exchange, as a value reserve, so as to say, like digital gold, Ethereum allows you to program on blockchain. When you have virtual currency, you can create rules for trading. Based on this idea, you have the Ethereum Virtual Machine, or EVM, a great computer. So in case there is a bottleneck or a knot, as you say, a knot is a computer that runs the blockchain. And the Ether is the currency that circulates in this platform. And then you have the NFTs that have different types of tokens. You also have the ERC and other tokens. At the beginning, I had the ICOs, which is the initial token. Tokens. And then there was a discussion about regulation. And then NFTs were created. They are tokens, and they have this idea of something that is unique. The Ether, Bitcoin, or other non-fungible tokens, fungible tokens, they can be exchanged. It doesn't matter whether the Ether was minted by Satoshi, or if I have an Ether that was created by a different blockchain. However, there was this wish to have something that couldn't be replaced or substituted or divided, such as Bitcoin and Ether can be. You can divide Ether and Bitcoin. When it comes to NFTs, you have different types of ERC. What is an ERC? These are standards of the sector that sets some rules that govern the exchanges and the transactions. And as a consequence, you can exchange the currency. So you have ERC standard 1155, ERC 721, and many others. But basically, people, they create standards that allows operations and transactions in ethers, and each standard has a different set of rules. For instance, ERC 721 can include different assets. When it comes to non-fungible tokens, you should bear in mind you have different types, different tokens, but they all aim for simplification. NFT, as it has been mentioned, means non-fungible token. It means something that is unique with not anything similar. It is a way of registering the ownership of a piece of art, of a music, or something that is physical and real, such land, real estate, so on and so forth. Once you have the certification, the registration, you can trade the asset via cryptocurrency. So the NFTs, the notary of the future. And the digitalization of art presents several benefits. In addition to making the transference easier because you can circulate the assets internationally. You might sell to someone who's in China, in Japan, and the United States. But you also deal with the scarcity. So there is no double spending. It is not possible to create another one unless you have all the background, and also there is a relation with the security, with the safety. Many artists, they create NFTs in order to have a digital asset that reproduces the physical one. Say there is a natural disaster because it has happened, and somehow you end up losing the physical piece of work. You can still have the digital art. Some artists had lost their pieces of work, and they have somehow been able to restore them via digital art. And in addition to the smart contracts, the automation, NFT brings creative possibilities. You can see an image here. This image refers to the Currency project. In this project, 1,000 units of this drawing was created. And these paintings are all different from each other. And when you buy one, you get to choose if you want to have the NFT or the physical work. This is very interesting. And the objective of the artist is to explore value. What has more value, the NFT or the physical work? You get to choose. And in order to do so, you have to think, what do I want? Do I want to have the NFT or the physical work? What do I value most? And at the end, this is an experience, and the author wants to see what is going to be left. I mean, and if physical work will have to be destroyed or not in case NFTs are all sold. And when it comes to law, there is a right that is very interesting, which is a safeguard right, and very much useful in the art world. In the copyright law, you have Article 38, which governs resale royalties. According to this article, the author has the irrevocable and inalienable right to collect a minimum of 5% of any gain in value that may be achieved in its resale of an original work or of art or manuscript that has disposed of. Sole paragraph. Where the author does not collect his resale royalty at the time of the resale, the vendor shall be considered the depositary of the sum payable to him, except where the operation has been conducted by an auctioneer, in which case the latter is considered the depositary. In other words, the author of a work has the right to collect royalties on the profit that was made by the collectioneers. And this is because the author has worked extensively. He valued his work and his name, and as a consequence, he has the right to a percentage on the valuation of his name and his work. The resale royalty, the resale right, was very difficult to be enforced in the past, but this is very useful to NFTs. In the past, you had the auction sales and the auctioneer was the depository, but it was impossible to certificate that, to prove that. It was sometimes difficult to make collections. But NFTs allow this collection to be carried out automatically and via smart contracts. According to these contracts, if something takes place, there is a provision determining what is going to happen. And as a consequence, you have a piece of legislation that provides forcibility, traceability, reliability, and this for artists that might not be known and that needed to have a compensation for their work in the short term. And this piece of legislation will probably encourage artists to create NFTs because it allows them to have a source of income, a greater reliability, and it is easier for them to have their rights enforced. So that's the idea I had. Thank you very much for your attention. It is an honor to participate in this panel with great colleagues. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Guilherme. Now we move on to Felipe Ribe. He's a journalist and a manager, and today head of innovation at Atlético Mineiro Football Club, who is leading the Brazilian Championship. Today there is an article on the achievements of the club, and let's see how the tokenization policy of the Atlético Football Club is behind this, or if there's another explanation behind the success of the Rooster, the Atlético Football Club success. Good morning, Valdir. Good morning to my fellow panel members. I am going to share my screen with a presentation on what we've been doing here at the Atlético Football Club. First of all, it's a great pleasure, as I said, to be here. I'm honored to be representing a soccer club or a football club and an event of this size. This also shows the achievements of the Rooster outside the soccer pitch. And I will be talking to you about the cases of what we have done after what the interesting that a presentation we heard. I am an innovation manager. I am going to explain this to you. This is a new position. I started in March this year, and innovation is below the business department. We have commercial, marketing, and innovation departments. And I have three main objectives. The first one, to find new sources of income. We have believe in the motto, new money is good money. To have a look into the future, use new technologies and see how new technologies are going to influence not just the club, but also the industry as a whole, as well as positioning our club as pioneer, not just in Brazil, but around the world. And this has brought a number of business opportunities for our football club. What do we want in the crypto world, actually? We want to experiment new ways of engaging not only with our fans, but also football fans around the world. The crypto world has other products that clubs can launch. You don't need to launch products just for your football club's fans. You can use NFTs and a number of things that can be of interest of other football club fans, and they can see this with a market value. They can resell it and keep it as an asset. And the objective is to test blockchain technology to learn how it can impact the future of business. I am a big fan of this technology personally, but being a new source of income, even if it's basic when compared to other income sources, as I said, new money is good money. We already have NFT income, and also position the Rooster as an innovative club. And the reason why I'm here is because we have been innovative when it comes to NFTs. So what have we done so far? The first initiative that we took in NFTs was in May this year. We were the second football club in the world organizing an auction of an artist piece. We called Pedro Nguyen, who's an artist, and he recreates great moments in football. So we wanted him to recreate this great moment in the quarterfinals of the Libertadores championship, and the goalkeeper managed to defend this ball, and at the end of the day we managed to become champions. This was a unique piece of art, and it was done exclusively for this for the auction, which is what we call one-to-one auction, and we place it on action on the biggest NFT marketplace around the world, the OpenSea. So the auction was on the air for about 30 days. We didn't get that many bids, but then it ended up being sold for 2 ETHs at the time, around $5,000. So what did we learn? Even though the financial result having been pretty good is like 18,000 reais, we thought that the platform, although OpenSea is the largest NFT marketplace, it's too complicated for those who are not experts in crypto. So when for a football club, speaking to the masses, that was difficult. So that was a difficulty we were faced with. Art, even though the art was great, we also thought that it was different from the trends that we compared in OpenSea. Now we see very colorful, animated 3D pieces. And then the third lesson learned was the scarcity issue. It was an exclusive one-to-one auction, and that led to the fact that the price was too high, and that led to few bids. So if I were to have a verdict about the experience, well, the experience was great. We learned, we managed to get some money, but our main objective, which today is not just make money, but to build a community, not just of Atletico fans, but Brazilian fans that will start using NFTs. We actually, in the first initiative, we didn't manage to get to that first main objective, but then it led to the second initiative. Binance, if you don't know, it's one of the largest exchanges of cryptocurrencies around the world. And in June, they inaugurated an NFT marketplace. They invited 10 brands and 10 artists around the world to participate in this launch. In the first week, only 100 brands and artists managed to have an exhibition, and Atletico, because of this initiative with OpenSea wasn't also invited. And there we came up with something very different. Since the end of June, we're launching a collection of past jerseys in two formats, through 2D and 3D. The first jersey we launched was from 1914, the first championship won by the club. And every week we launch a new jersey, and that is going to go on until December to complete 13 jerseys. As if you don't know, 13 is the lucky number for the rooster. And we invited Flavio Markievski, who is a great artist, to deal with this fantastic history of our football club. Well, we launched it on this platform, which is much more user-friendly. Anybody can basically have an account there. You make a automatic transfer in reais, and then it converts into the currency, and then the person is inside the marketplace and can start buying with NFTs. It takes real, the Brazilian real, and it has global reach. And now we have less scarcity. So we're going to have a total of 13 jerseys, always 10 for 3D and 500 of 2D. The 3D version is always up for 7-day auction with a minimum bid of $20, and the 2D is always a lump sum of $10. And we have reduced the quantity in order, the amount, to attract more fans. And we also connected in benefits in the physical world. If you complete a jersey collection, you can have an official jersey with an autograph, a video with a thank you, and a number of subscriptions. So here you have on the left the 2D 1914 jersey, and on the right 1927 3D jersey. So these were designed by Flavio Markievski. It's incredible. He designed it. He researched the texture of the materials at the time, and he did this manually, and his work is fantastic. So I cannot share the results yet because this is still in the beginning. We last week launched the 4th jersey out of the 13. So if you invite me next year again to be part of this panel, I will be able to share the results and the lessons learned. And within this NFT world, the third initiative is Sorare. Today, this is a French company, is for $1 billion worth, and we have NFT cards. I'm very sorry, but there's a construction work right next door to me. I'm very sorry about this. I'm sorry, just on top of my head. Well, this is very familiar for pandemic times, for sure. Well, is it too difficult? Is it too disturbing? Can I go on? Yes, move on. So we are the first football club to go into Sorare. It's this is a global company. You have Real Madrid, Liverpool, Juventus, PSG, the great football clubs around the world. The Atletico was the first one from Brazil to be able to get in. The cards are collectible also, and the performance of the players in the real life also influences on the card performance in Sorare. So the cards are issued and are auctioned throughout the football season. Why did we decide to choose Sorare? This, first of all, is different from Binance or OpenSea. This is a brand licensee. Sorare has their own community. if you go into cryptoslam.io, they track these elements. You will see that Soraya is on the top 10 projects of NFT. So we're with global football clubs, over 40 clubs around the world, Real Madrid, Liverpool, Juventus, PSG, and so on. This is great in terms of brand recognition. And because it's a licensing contract, there's low risk, it is not time consuming, and it's a high reward. So these are 3 types of cards that are issued. So on the right, you have the black one. You have the minimum bid of 500 euros. This one for Guilherme Arena was sold for 14,000 euros, a collector from India. Then you have the blue one. This is super rare. So you only have 10 units of rare, super rare with a initial bid of 50 euros. And you have the red ones, which are called the rare ones, 100 units with a minimum bid of 5 euros. Here are the results. It's not very updated. I apologize for that. We started in May, so this is our 4th month within Sorare. So the number below is updated. We have sold over 400,000 euros of cards inside this platform. Because it's a license, we have a minority percentage of this, but if you consider that euro is 6.3 reais, this is money we weren't making before. We're very happy with the results, and we have NFT owners around the world. And here are the lessons learned. We have a brand licensing can be a great option when you have an established community in the surroundings, which is the case with Sorare. The platform is very easy for those who are not crypto experts. You can buy an NFT on your credit card. You don't have to have a crypto wallet or whatever. And the fan experience, even though it's very easy to use, the fact that the euro is the currency may be a hindrance for Brazilians to participate. So we are at this phase. Yes, we are having great return from fans around the world, but especially for the Brazilian fans, we're still slow when it comes to growth. We can say that we are in the educational phase still. And to wrap up, what do we see as roosters? What's coming next in terms of NFT? So new collections we're going to be launching in new platforms. There are new platforms every week. We want to experiment on all of them until we get to that platform that's going to be ideal for us to communicate not just with our fans, but football fans around the world, in addition to Brazil. Recently, we had dynamic NFTs. They get updated with time. I think this is highly interesting. And for example, we had the LaMelo Ball from NBA. He launched his NFT. So every time he gets a reward, he gets his NFT grows in price. And then he was elected the young talent, and he has received his NFTs has grown in price, and it's also a great way of communicating directly with our fans. When it comes to ticketing, this is a game changer. I think ticketing industry is going to be disrupted by NFT a lot for Will. That's why I call Guilherme. He's a friend of mine. As he said, traceability. Today, event organizers are not making any money. In the secondary market, you can create ticketing through NFTs. So every time you resell, the organizer starts to make some money. So we get rid of illegal sale of tickets and also piracy problems we get rid of, better processes in terms of the legal department, the metaverse, tokenization of physical assets. The sky is the limit when it comes to the possibility of NFTs and the crypto world in general for our football club. Thank you so much. I'm sorry for that terrible noise from the construction works right upstairs on top of my head. I hope you have heard me well. I wish you all a very good afternoon.
Thank you. And it's very interesting to see that you are using this model in order to monetize your talents and have some income. Now we're going to hear Fabio Schwarzwald from the finance market and the art market. He was the head of Parquilage, and he's now working at the Museum of Modern Art of the city of Rio de Janeiro, and he'll be talking about NFTs and the art market. You have the floor, Fabio. Valdir, thank you very much for the opportunity. Thank you, José Eduardo. Thank you, ABPI. It is an honor to be here sharing the panel with Felipe and Guilherme. Felipe, you know I support another team, and maybe you can help us out. In any case, it is so interesting to see the disruption caused by technology, and that's the topic of my presentation today. Can you see my screen? I'd like to talk about the NFT market. Guilherme and Felipe mentioned important topics, and I want to go on the same line and say that the future has already started. We're going through a transformation in the art sector, and not only. Blockchain, this encrypted technology, as Guilherme mentioned, data banks with decentralized governance. This brings reliability to transactions, and this is very important to the art market. You can have more reliable transactions. You also have this verifiable chain of information, and also the certificate of provenance. This is very dear to the art market. When it comes to cryptocurrency, as Guilherme has already mentioned, these currencies are social technologies because they are decentralized. You don't need a bank, you don't need an intermediary, and you have potential buyers and sellers. Everyone can be a potential buyer and seller, which is reproduced in the art market. The NFT, it's being mentioned by Felipe and Guilherme. They've talked about that extensively, so I won't go into details, but this is a revolution. Valdir mentioned pieces of art that are sold at very, very high prices, unimaginable, and it happened from night to day. This started in September in Brazil, and very quickly Brazil connected to this market, to this trend, and we have the same thing taking place in here, where artists can sell their work digitally. So the digital art market is very interesting. And then the fairs, the galleries, the fair trades, they're going to change their operation. As you know, collecting pieces of art is not easy, it's not simple. When you are a collectioner that you are addicted to buying works of art, you need a space where you can store your collection. And in Rio de Janeiro, for instance, it's a city where you have a problem of humidity, so you need to restore the works of art every 2 or 3 years. And when it comes to digital art, such concern does not exist because it does not require a maintenance of the collection. So such a disruption is important. You now have the independent certification of authenticity that brings new opportunities to artists and collectionists. Also, the resale royalty is so interesting. It is a topic we've always discussed about, but so difficult to put in practice. And I believe that now, with the NFTs and smart contracts, it will be possible to enforce such royalties because in the smart contract, you can foresee the percentage that will be given to the artist, to the gallery, to the marketplace. And as a consequence, you bring new opportunities for the artist. Now the artist can have a an asset that can be monetized. And this is somehow a source of income for your children, for your family. Some time ago, this was unimaginable, and now with the technology, it is possible. And the resale right was only applied when you had a piece of work that was auctioned, and then the piece of work became public, and then it was possible to have information regarding the value of the sale and then the collection of the resale right. So now you have new opportunities, and we can have this attached to physical work as well. Take an example, Beatriz Milhazes, for instance. She doesn't have NFTs, but she sells through galleries. And the galleries, they provide the buyers with a certificate, with a physical certificate. If then the buyer resells the work, this person doesn't have to resell through the same gallery. He can resell through another intermediary or directly, and then you lose the resale right. And you don't even have information regarding the amount, the value through which the piece of work was sold. But now, you can digitalize an existing work, and this allows you to sell the physical work plus the NFT. So the buyer will acquire both. The person will acquire the painting, but the person will also acquire an NFT that is certified through blockchain and purchased via Ether, or it is available on Ethereum. So the person will have a real piece of art, and when it comes to reselling, there is no discussion concerning the resale right. This is automatic, and the artist will have an automatic right to the resale royalty, which is excellent because the artist can benefit from the valuation of his or her work ad eternum, forever. This will be very positive for our market. And it is a real decentralization of sales. And everyone can have access to information regarding the price and the buyer, which is also an additional benefit for artists and the art market in general. And again, when it comes to innovation, the transactions of digital work have now a global scale, and it creates a new market. Say you have a card displaying a team player of Atlético Mineiro to a guy who is in India, or a work of art that is auctioned via a platform, Tropics platform. You can now reach a global set of buyers, a global audience. You no longer limit to people close to you. This translates into possibilities of being known internationally. I do believe that from now on, people will look for art and these platforms that bring the entire background of the artist, of his or her work and the sales, and more people will be able to join the market. And it is also interesting for the gallery, because if the gallery is on the platform together with the artist, both are going to benefit from the sale and the resale. And for the artist, it's possible to be internationally, globally known, and to have the right to the resale royalties as well. So in this market, everybody will have to be connected, and this includes museums. In this sense, this market will bring opportunities for museums, opportunities that are quite interesting, because we have to ask these questions. How are museums going to benefit from this trend? At the Museum of Modern Art, you have the Club of Collectioners, and then we invite four artists that produce some work, and the resulting work, four works, are sold in bundle, and we collect money to maintain the museum. And now with the NFT, I'm able to have digital work. So I'm going to sell the Club of Collectioners digitally. I can have the physical work plus the NFT, or the physical work that is attached to an NFT. And I can sell internationally. And then my only concern will be to send the piece of art abroad. But in any case, you can have people from all over the world collecting work of art for cheaper prices. Also, you have the tokenization of collections. The Museum of Modern Art has 1,500 works of art in its collections, including paintings, drawing, sculptures. We have the greatest private collection of movies, with over 60,000 movies, 35 and 50 millimeters, and 3 million documents. Let's draw a comparison. The Brazilian movies collection has half of it. Now I can tokenize my collection. I can digitalize and tokenize a part of my collection. I can lend it to other museums so that other museums can have exhibitions with digital art. Because with technology now, you can display in many different ways. So it became easier for me to lend my collection to exhibitions in other museums all over the world. And I can earn money from these transactions. I can also say lend my collection to a person, to a collectioner who wishes to see these works at his place for one day, for 1 month. And this contract will have a 1 day term, a 1 month term. I can monetize my collection in different ways, and the same is valid for the movies and even the documents. Now, some researchers no longer have to come to the museum in order to read about some artists, because once I have a digitalization of my documents that are demanded by researchers, I can make them available. I can sell them, and this is very innovative, I think, and it generates a new source of income. We have now a new technology that allows the tokenization of other things such as the educational content, lectures, classes, courses, and I can sell them. I can tokenize our publications. Sometimes people they want to buy it, but you don't have it made available digitally. But then I can have a limited edition of digital documents or publications. I can rent the collections once again, as I said previously. And when you tokenize and digitalize a collection, because the Museum of Modern Art had a fire in the 70s, and we lost arts in the amount of $1 billion. So if we had these works of art previously tokenized and digitalized, it would be possible to have access to it. Of course, it wouldn't be the physical one, but I could have it on a screen. Does it replace the real work? This is a question. Maybe nothing can replace a physical work, but I could still have the ownership or the possession of this piece of art that could be rented, lent, shared. This is a way of ensuring the possession of this work and also making them eternal and protected from fires and from other accidents. And finally, you can share the programming network. You can now have students, researchers, museums, and galleries with the possibility of having access to our content. And the content will be the currency in the future. Every content will have the possibility of being attached to a NFT, and it will have the possibility of being traded digitally. This is a shift of paradigm because you create opportunities to monetize something that is very expensive, which is to maintain a collection. You need air conditioning, and electric energy is very expensive in Brazil. You have the restoration, the renovation, the space where you store the paintings that has to be maintained as well, the rent. And it's possible to, in a way, finance this maintenance work through the possibilities brought about by technology. And finally, let's meet again in the Decentraland. And Decentraland, these virtual lands that is being acquired by people, and there is an inflation right now. And you can, create a museum in this virtual land, and people can maybe visit the Museum of Modern Art of Rio de Janeiro in a digital land. For many, that would be unimaginable. And today, this is real. You can have 100% virtual exhibitions. We will have a physical exhibition. People have access to it. They will have also guided tour, 3D tours. And on the top of that, you're going to have 100% digital exhibitions. You're going to enter a digital museum and have access to pieces of work that do not exist physically. This is a new opportunity. This is unique, and this will allow us to foster culture and innovation. And this does not limit us to a territory, to a city, to a place in order to have access to art. And we can reach the world with our collections and exhibitions and our classes, courses. We are now entering a new phase for museums. So I'd like to thank you very much for your attention. And I hope to host you in a virtual exhibition shortly. Thank you.
Thank you, Fabio. All presentations have been excellent. We will also be preserving our legacy. We have a history of fires. There was a long time ago, the Museum of Modern Art had a long time ago had a fire. The Cinemateca, the National Museum, all experienced fires. So if you digitalize, you will be preserving our legacy, even in the face of fires. Although the tokenized pieces of art still not have the same value, at least our legacy, the legacy will be preserved. As I said, Jose Eduardo is in charge of all our panels here. He is a partner in a law firm, and he is going to give us an overview and conduct our debate. Well, good afternoon. I'd like to say that we had a brilliant and very user-friendly presentation by Guilherme. He brought his experience as a lawyer, and he started by stressing the importance of decentralized control of blockchain. And this is how it started. This is how we managed to get to cryptocurrency and how this is impacting NFTs. He explained what the non-fungible token is, and then I would ask a question for the law community. What is the legal nature of the NFT? There are tax impacts as well as intellectual property consequences. What we can conclude from this little time of use of NFTs is that what we're sure about, as Guilherme has mentioned, that this is going to be the new notary public. So a new notary public that doesn't have the public nature of it. So the state no longer follows technology, and this has been accepted by courts. A digital signature that has the Brazilian standard as well as other platforms have started to be accepted to confirm validity of a contract. If you consider that in copyright, a copyright doesn't depend on registration, it seems to me that there's no doubt that if you have an NFT, that will be, as mentioned by Guilherme, this will be serving as a new notary public, but a much better one because we'll be an international notary public. And then the very pleasant presentation by Felipe, in addition to his very pleasant Rio de Janeiro accent, he is a fan of Flamengo Football Club, but is working at Atletico Football Club as a joke. So what he says, well, the experimental nature of the times we're living and what the club is doing and being a pioneer in this case, he never said that he's looking for quick profit. He has a long-term view, and he mentioned the first piece sold by $5,000, the static piece by the goalkeeper, Victor. When we work with art, NFT, it's very important to have a clearance of rights. There was an artist that made that draw. There is no roosters, and the Victor is not there on the piece when we work with NFT, especially in sports area. And Valdir mentioned NBA. NBA has the full rights of everything, all the content produced. So having an NFT of an image that may belong to a TV channel broadcaster may not be as smart as what the Rooster did to hire their own artist and make sure that the transfer rights is going to be on that platform, and that's where the piece is going to be sold. Then we had Fabio. He started, the first sentence he said, well, it was the future's here, and the future starts for the arts to solve a problem, a past problem that we never managed to solve. He said, and Guilherme said, the resale right, the importance has in two ways. First of all, to make sure you know where it comes from. Not only you're guaranteeing that the piece is an original and you're not selling in the auction a pirated or a stolen piece, but you're also making sure that that family and the heirs of that artist's future. So you guarantee, and also you follow up on how much the piece is becoming more valuable. We have funds that are securitizing amounts through art. This could be a great opportunity to inject money into the art world. He also presents the recent opportunities for museums, guaranteeing security and fostering new sources of income. The new money Valdir mentioned. Now we can open for questions from the audience. We started with a little delay, so we may add a couple of minutes. I can't see any questions in the chat. I cannot see the chat at this point. I think our speakers for this audience, they have been very complete. So if you have not received any questions, and I cannot see in the general chat, I would like to thank Felipe, Guilherme, Fabio, José Eduardo Pieri for an excellent panel on a very current topic that has grown incredibly this year during the pandemic. If it weren't for the remote possibility, this topic wouldn't be as interesting for our audience. Buying digital art, reselling it, and having a remote exhibition, buying athletic cards. But this topic wouldn't be so interesting if it weren't for the pandemic. You are all apparently from home. I don't know if Fabio is at the museum. I think Fabio is the only one at the office. Everybody else is home office. You've all been for a year and a half. So in case there are no questions, one round of final comments. Guilherme, just a chance for you to wrap up. Well, first of all, I'd like to thank everyone. I would like to thank ABPI for the invitation. It's been a pleasure to be here. Fabio, Felipe, José, Valdir. It's great to talk about such a novel topic, to see such growth, new experiments. Myself as an entrepreneur, I'm very happy to see that people are interested in talking about this. At Tropics, we see a number of galleries that are interested in getting into the NFT world, especially for the issue of rights, but also to innovate and to see where this can take us. So I'm very happy to see innovation happening and to be able to see that this can spread culture, because the crypto world involves issues and culture of decentralization, of cooperation, of openness. You have a new market in which anyone can get access to a piece of art, to an image. It's open. Anyone can go in and check out the Felipe card, a piece of Milhazes, if she uses NFT. Today we're launching Gustavo von Haar, a very famous artist. We're launching a piece today, so you can check it out. You can study it. Very well commented by Fabio, but you can also compare ownership, even though it's open. Anyone can see it. You negotiate a certificate. It's something that sounds different, sometimes complex, but people want to have the original. So you can expand the reach of culture. You can expand access to culture and still keeping the ownership, so that the author, you generate the scarcity as openness at the same time. What seemed to be complex in the traditional world, in the digital world, in the blockchain world, NFT world, this is natural in a way that a lot of people don't understand, but the new generations are pretty aware of this, to understand the value of having a certificate, an NFT, and everybody else being able to see it. The case that was shown very adequately, like the memes. Why is it valuable? Because so many people see it. The more people, the more valuable. So it's not something that is going to be on a wall in your home and nobody's going to have access to it. So access creates value. This is my comment. I'd like to thank everyone. You have the floor. Felipe, can you make your final comments? I'd like to thank ABPI for the invitation. It was a great pleasure to receive your invitation a few months ago. I learned a lot by being here. I'd like to repeat what Pierre said. Here at the Atletico Football Club, we have no certainties. We're experimenting to get to some kind of certainty in the future. This is our focus, and we don't have any competition. Our competition is on the pitch, on the football pitch. So I exchange ideas with all the clubs that approach me. I want the more football clubs, the more popular, the bigger the cake, the bigger the slice for everyone. We're very open. When the museum launches the Decentraland exhibits, it would be great for us to have our NFTs on your galleries too. Well, I wish you all a very good week. Well, I would say follow the leader, but no, I won't. Fabio, your last comments?